What is human right?
Okay. Human rights are basically inalienable rights or inalienable gifts from God. In fact, one of the qualities of human rights is its inherency. Every one of us, we met ourselves in this life, in this world. And when a baby is born or when you are born into this world, you have what we call life. So basically, it's God that gave you life. So we have the right to life. Once you are growing up, you can move around naturally. If you are okay, nothing is wrong, you are healthy medically. You can see, you can walk, you can talk. So the process of walk around, move from place to place, has to do with what we call personal liberty. We get it as we grow up. We can say, okay, I can decide to move from where I am to another point in place. That has to do with the personal liberty. That has to do with movement. And as you grow your mind, you can start to question some things. You can decide to believe in God. You can decide to believe otherwise. You can decide to believe in yourself. And from there, you can talk about the right to freedom of worship. And also, if you start to work and you believe that, yes, between you and your employer, there ought to be a middle ground, a middleman. And as a result of that, we can form an association. That's the right to actually be a part of an association. And actually, it's not truly compulsory too. We can decide not to join any association. So basically, everything about human rights is actually inherent. All those things were put together by the United Nations to have what we call the United Nations Declaration of Rights of 1948, which has been basically domesticated by most nations of the world, inclusive of Nigeria, which also a member state of the United Nations. So as a result of that, we have all these rights that are inherent from God entrenched in our constitution, which is the chapter 4 of the 1999 constitution, having from section 33 down through to section 46. It starts with the right to life. It ends with the right for you to actually sue anybody, especially when you see that any of these labor rights or inherent rights is being infringed, is likely to be infringed, or has been infringed. You get it? And that's the reason why we have courts to listen to you, which are also creations of the Constitution. So basically, human rights has its core in its inherency, and that's the way I'm sure the creator wants us to be. So that's just it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic session. Thank you so much, for that response. And I hope that you're picking one or two things from the session that they're having. And I want us to go straight here to the point we want to talk about today, which is basically police brutality. And I'm sure that in a few years ago, I mean, it was a major conversation that was going on in this country with the whole NSAS movement and against Galcod. And so we're going to be dealing basically on a human rights violation, or we're going to be talking about how it relates to the police. What are your rights? What are the things you're supposed to do when you're arrested and things like that. So my first question would be, um, does the police have the right to arrest, right? And the second question from that would be, if they do have the right to arrest, are there instances where they do not have the right to arrest you? And in such an instance, when they arrest you, whether legally or illegally, what do you do as a citizen of Nigeria or just somebody in Nigeria?
The first question is that whether police have the right to arrest. Of course, yes. By virtue of being Section 5 of the Police Act, the police is saddled with the responsibility to actually detect crime, summarily, to detect crime. They have the backing of the law to arrest anyone suspected of committing a crime. So yes, the police, their constitutional duty is actually to actually make arrest of any citizen that has actually flouted the law. They are actually the law enforcer. And as a result of that, yes, the police have the right to make an arrest. When police do not have rights to arrest, okay, should I treat that also? Yes, yeah. Basically, there are instances where police do not have the right to arrest anyone unless whatever the issue is becoming a breach of public peace. We get it. So as a result of that, maybe police is not meant to arrest on such issues. I'll give you an example. It is quite law that police do not have the right to intermeddle into anything that has to do with contracts, civil contracts, e.g., like debt recovery or liquidated demand of money. The police does not have a right. If someone is owing you money, when you were both discussing on the loan arrangement or the debt arrangement or the contracts of buying and supply arrangement, there was nothing as to using the police to enforce your side. So, in as much as the police was not involved in the consensus added in the agreements between parties, then the police cannot be used to enforce it. So there have been a lot of pretorial authorities that said, yes, the police, although they can detect crime, they don't have the rights to make arrests when it has to do with civil issues. Police does not actually have the right to also intermeddle into civil issues like land disputes unless where it results into breach of public peace. Anything that has to do with title to land, the police does not have the jurisdiction. There's nothing. They are not qualified to even talk about it according to the law. Police do not have the right to intermeddle into divorce. Husband and wife, if are fighting, yes, they can look into assault, but not that they will be the one to say, husband, go your separate ways, wife, go your separate way. They don't have the right to pronounce a marriage null and void. So you can see from that line that most civil cases, as it were, the police does not actually have the jurisdiction to intermeddle your them. But basically, the way we present ourselves to the police is the way police intermeddling into civil matters. For instance, someone owes you money and you write a petition to the police that someone stole your money. They are going to invite the person on the suspicion of stealing your money. And when they get to know the truth, you now say, okay, you that you have been stealing, we are doing an undertaking that you repay. And the person will do an undertaking in the presence of guns, threats, and things like that. And that's actually wrong. That's actually a breach of the person's right. Or you say, okay, the person was charged to court, and when you people get to court, to say, okay, be paying it small to the court registrar. That's actually wrong. In as much as there was a contract where you give your money to someone or where you both agreed on some terms, the police should not be used to enforce such. Nevertheless, I'm not saying that the police, it is the way we present a case before the police. That is why you see the police intermeddling into civil cases. And it's not only for the public. Even we have some of we lawyers that also do it, all in just a bit to ensure that at least somebody is unduly harassed. And this kind of practice is not the kind of practice I actually encourage. So basically, I'm sure I've been able to answer the two questions.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. Now, I want to take it from where you stopped. You mentioned instances where police is not allowed to arrest. Yeah. Now, as a citizen, somebody listen to this, you find yourself a victim of such. What are your rights? What are you supposed to do in such an instance?
Whatever anyone is arrested or suspected or allegedly to have committed a crime, the first thing you need to note is that you need a lawyer. That's the first thing. Constitutionally, anyone that is being suspected of a crime, if he's been arrested, has the right to be silent. Yes? That's Section 36. Has the right to be silent. You have the right to clear hearing. You have the right to be silent. And actually, according to criminal procedure law, you actually have the right to demand, you have a right to a counsel. That's also constitutional. You have a right to a counsel. That is the right to a lawyer. You can insist that you will not write a statement. You're not going to say anything until you have your lawyer there. And, according to the administration of criminal justice system that we have, in consonance and in accordance with some Supreme Court judgment, when someone is arrested currently, is expected after being cautioned to write a statement in front of his lawyer. And is also expected to be videotaped to show the voluntariness of he writing a said statement. And this is actually obtainable from all these high-profile cases of kidnapping and stuff. You see them, most of those guys, you see them on video. Some have even been circulated on social media. However, The process of taking a voluntary statement is another issue of law entirely. But if anyone is being harassed by a police officer, whether for civil cases or for even a criminal cases that you know something about, it may be aiding and abetting the commission of an offense, can be an accessory after the fact, and so many other things that we do and we don't know. Someone stole, you open your home for them to drop what was stolen, and you also open the door for the person to run out. You have aided and abetted the thief. So you're also a thief. You have received stolen property. All those things are criminal offenses. But basically, that's why we have lawyers to tell you your rights and to tell you how you can present your case properly before the court of law.